as they haven't had as much time to practice. And let's get into the champion select here. Aurelia and Aatrox off the table. Two of those possible flex picks. We've seen a lot of Aatrox discussion around the changes to the ultimate, you know, the absurd healing that was added and the resets that you can get in those fights. The world ender really is that, and also a game ender for a lot of these guys. So he's going to be on the ban table along with Yuumi.
Two things that always get banned away in every game of League of Legends we've been watching the past couple of weeks. Flex picks, the cat. Nobody wants that cat in the games. Yuumi has a lot of potential if played by an expert player. The ceiling for the champion is actually a basement because you can just attach to somebody and AFK, don't have to worry about it. But to truly play the champion correctly, there's a lot of little nuanced stuff, and it makes it pretty hard to deal with if she's able to do what she wants in the lanes and the team fights. Next ban is going to be Sylas, keeping with those flex pick trends.
And with Sylas off the table, I feel like the Akali priority does rise up, as it is one of the biggest answers there. We're now breaking the Sonateric, saw it in game number 1. It's not going to be the case here. So do 100 Thieves feel okay with giving up the first pick Akali or Ryze? The answer is they'd rather give up the first pick Akali, if that possibility is here. Now, a Team Liquid Akali looks like a Jensen Akali.
Yeah.
We have not seen, you know, impact Akali, so it's not this flex pick that is hyped up for most other teams.
See what Team Liquid wants to go with here. The Akali's still left online. The Jace, another one that is popular to see, and especially one that Impact's been put a lot on so far over the course of the past split and recently at MSI.
Yep, that's definitely a Impact pick, as we've seen very, very often for Team Liquid. They have him pushing in the side lanes, pushing down those towers. We've also seen him get solo killed, at least in spring, in multiple tank matchups. So it is a little bit, yeah, it is definitely a little bit of a worry. It's still possible that you can put that in mid lane, but it makes you very early game oriented. You have to do snowball, and a lot of mid laners not quite on the same level there. Someday and Amazing locking in the Sivir and Olaf for their team as well. I really like Sivir with Olaf. Provides Olaf a lot more threat towards the mid game in these team fights where you have an early power jungle start. Olaf extremely good early on at trying to bully the enemy champion and determine those routes. And then Sivir with the extra speed makes you threatening on the back line.
And the response from Team Liquid will be the lovers duo locked in, the Xayah and Rakan. Last game we saw the Xayah picked up early. Rakan not picked up with her in that first half of the pick and ban phase. Meant that Rakan got to be banned away. Liquid's not going to allow that to happen. They want the synergy this time around. Both locked in before the second round of the bans come through. And 100 Thieves are going for the Nautilus.
Nautilus, definitely an underrated support right now, I feel like. Super strong tank, has guaranteed hard engage. Really, really threatening, especially into Rakan, because he is just far more tanky than Rakan. So if Rakan goes in, Nautilus, you can try and get your passive autos down. You have huge AoE damage that you can put out as well. And with Aftershock, you can actually just last longer on the front line. So it's up to the Rakan to try and figure his way out of the straight up fight, or he's probably going to get melted first.
Yeah, he's got to be tricky to avoid those big old anchor bonks on the head. But as we go into the second part of the bans, 100 Thieves are hitting Xmithie's pool, taking out the Sejuani and the Rek'Sai. Two champions Xmithie has plenty of games on, wants to keep him off of those. As Team Liquid goes after the Nico, they don't want that being played into the Jace. We saw that matchup taken last game by Cloud9. Granted, it was Echo Fox that chose to take the Jace into it, but that's not what we're going to see there in the top lane this time around, and Liquid have one more ban, and it's Yorick.
Taking away some split push opportunities here from Someday. Jarvan actually locked in for a top lane Jarvan here with the Jace on the other side. That is looking for those all-ins. Cataclysm is very, very useful here. If you have an Olaf come to the lane, Jace has to flash out of the way.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Laser focus here.
Hold.
I mean, you talk a lot about the Rek'Sai and Sejuani as super high play rate champions here for Xmithie. Both the Skarner and the Trundle are other options for him. I have actually really liked the way that Xmithie plays the Trundle, making it much more effective in ganks than we've seen a lot of other players. He finds very good pathways to get in and just uses the frozen ground to have the extra move speed to charge the enemy lane opponent and try and force their flash with just the threat of moving up with the bite and the slow. And once they flash, then he finds really good pillar placement after the flash with your ranged pillar to try and still get the kill in one of those flash ganks.
And what we know about Trundle is it's really easy to eat enemies' resistances, and that's especially effective against opponents who have large resistances at the start and then those fall off. Something like a Rammus in a defensive ball curl, Sejuani with their passive. You can take opponents really, really close to 0 if you're managed to subjugate them before those resistances fall off. And considering with Olaf, the Ragnarok gives him bonus armor and magic resistance that he loses during the ultimate, if you subjugate him before the ulti, bye-bye extra stats, you still plummet down the same amount anyway. That's a very squishy Viking.
Yep, he's a prime target for the ultimate. And it's actually much easier to pull off than something like playing the Trundle into the Sejuani matchup where you want to do it after the Sejuani engage and proc the Aftershock and before her passive falls off. So the timing is kind of hard there. With Olaf, as the Trundle, you just want to ult him as soon as you see him.
Yep.
Because he knows that now that this Trundle ultimate is on me, if at any time I do pop the Ragnarok, then I'll be very vulnerable, and he just gets melted down. That being said, the Aftershock target is still also there. You can cast it on the Nautilus. Nautilus is very similar in that way, where if Nautilus goes for the engage, autos anyone or whatever, and procs that Aftershock, still going to give you a lot of stats in those bottom side skirmishes.
And as we see the Azir and Orianna locked in the mid lane, I think it's cool to point out last week, we saw Jensen play against Echo Fox's mid laner Yasui, who moved up from the Academy team, now playing on the main LCS stage. Now he's playing against yet another player who started off in Academy back in spring, has since moved up to the main roster, this time of 100 Thieves. We saw last week that a former Academy mid laner is capable of taking down Team Liquid. Could 100 Thieves be number 2?
All right, Echo Fox have done it. They took down Team Liquid in week 1. Can 100 Thieves do it and start their turnaround here in week 2? It's Team Liquid, 100 Thieves.
Oh, baby, here we go. The players are out of the starting platforms, out onto the Rift, looking over those keystones. Everything's pretty par for the course here. You've got Grasp on Jarvan in the top side to make sure he's able to sustain up a little bit better against the Jace lane domination. Soligo taking a Summoner's Spellbook mid lane on the Orianna to make sure he has more utility, more options with that. And unlike what we saw last game with the Azir play that had the Electrocute, mostly just for the burst for extra trading potential in lane quickly, this is Lethal Tempo, which scales very scarily into the late game team fights.
Yeah, and it is also super useful for the Azir versus Sivir teams like this, because you get into sketchy territory later in the game where the Sivir, starts to get 5 items and the big crits start coming through. But Sivir is fairly short range, and Azir with Lethal Tempo can really match that later game team fight threat. So definitely have some good answers here. Let's see, defensive wards come down from 100 Thieves in the river. Trying to see if there's any sort of action here on the side of Team Liquid. Team Liquid saving more of theirs, though.
Nothing to write home about here before the minions collide this game. Nobody wants to try any fresh mozzarella or Swiss. No silly invades, no late attempts at a buff. And that means that Xmithie is able to grab his red rather easily. You're going to see Amazing starting off on his own Raptor camp. Olaf is one of those junglers, because he starts with the Hunter's Talisman, has very strong AoE, is able to rapidly clear the chicken camp without any real penalty in terms of his health. You can see he still has both potion charges, and he's healthily clearing this, no leech required.
Yeah, and actually health, you actually want to even get lower, so you'll see him not use the potion charges on purpose so that you get more attack speed from your passive. He doesn't use the smite either, doesn't want to heal up. It's one of those things where you ride the knife's edge with Olaf early on.
Walk the line.
If someone surprises you and goes for the invade early on with something like an Elise or those types of champions, they can try and look for the kills on Olaf. Trundle's not really one of those surprise champions, though. Usually want something with an early dash. And then you see the more crafty level 1s come out and crafty early jungle pathing, where you try and track the Olaf and pull off one of those surprises, take advantage of that fact. Not going to be the case here, as it is a very standard just red side clear for Olaf. You can see Amazing just power cleared and then recalled. So you can get your boots. Usually we'll see this very often with Predator Olafs, but he's doing it even with just the Conqueror here. Extra boots just going to give you the early move speed, and since you would transition from one side of the jungle to the other anyway, you don't lose out on too much time, and you just come down now for the reverse clear. That does mean, though, that Xmithy has cleared all but one of his camps since he didn't go for the early recall, and he is on the invade on the Olaf, actually popping the blast cone here back out rather than looking for any sort of early information, though. Didn't have any vision on Amazing, and we'll just take up the Scuttle Crab.
Sometimes you just got to get in the enemy jungle, mess up their plants, make sure they don't have the opportunity to use those for anything sinister later, as Amazing is going to continue farming up there on that Olaf. Saligo on the back foot here against Jensen, but still farming up just fine.
And something I want to point out that you can see happening on the mini-map right now, actually, is the Jace. And this is something that I want all of the lane-winning top laners to do. Impact on Jace pushed up the lane. Yes, Jace is a lane bully, but then he can transition into the river. Jace does have a knockback he can use on the Scuttle Grab to take out the resistances, and he takes the Scuttle for the team as well. So with Xmithy taking bottom Scuttle and Impact, the top laner, pushing in and then taking the top side, it gives so much security for Team Liquid early. You see Amazing sees that that one's gone, so his only option now is to gank mid, and Jensen is actually a good target.
He's walking towards the brush. He eats the axe from Amazing. One more flies out, but it's not going to find the mark. Just a little bit of extra help there for Saligo.
No wasted time for Amazing either, though, because as we said, both Scuttles are already taken, and he did the red side clear, so he was waiting for his Raptors to respawn. That is 2.5 minutes for everyone that wants to get really precise with their jungle paths, that you have to wait for the small camp respawn. So he waits for the extra wave.
Nice little wombo combo potential coming out from the side of Team Liquid here in that bottom lane. JJ getting the knockup, providing the opportunity for some extra damage. Impact gets hit by a single axe, but that's it.
Look at Xmithy. During that show from Olaf, he went to invade, places a control ward at the red, and some deeper vision here for Team Liquid. They're tracking Amazing. See if they have any sort of play, though, because he's still fairly healthy right now, clearing out the Krugs, and they've called Impact over for the invade.
100 Thieves should be aware of what's going on right now. I didn't see any pings on the map, but Xmithy hit the Scryer's Bloom as he went into the enemy jungle, which should have made it very apparent to 100 Thieves what Liquid was up to.
That's a flash.
But Amazing still has to blow his flash to get away.
Flash down on the Olaf, that's very big. Olaf, you'll see often take flashes when there are a lot of those hard engage options on the enemy team where you're going to need more than just a Ghost to get out of it. But Ghost is also still a very viable summoner for the champion if you're playing solo queue. Double lift in.
Once again, going for that 2v2 here in the bottom lane. Double lift taken very low, having to get himself back. Very low on mana and health alike. Means Team Liquid doesn't want to continue to fight any longer. All these mana bars are so close to zero. Aphromoo the only exception.
Yeah, Aphromoo does go in. You can see, once again, Nautilus tankiness is on display in that trade. Good job by 100 Thieves focusing their damage onto Double Lift, too, with the Ignite, as well as Bang auto attacks from the Sivir. They get a big advantage in lane by focusing the enemy carry. And they're actually forcing Team Liquid, Core JJ and Double Lift to hide in the brush, and they'll get the delayed recall.
But the important part about that is it's one summoner for two. 100 Thieves only has flashes available. The other two combat summoners are down. Double Lift still with a heal in his back pocket. Means if TL get the opportunity to farm up these last little bit of creeps, get back, reset, shop up, they'll have an advantage until those summoner spells are back up to try to keep forcing these 2v2s.
Plus, they've got a healthy CS lead for themselves. Double Lift, 10 CS up here onto Bang. And Bang gonna get back in time. Aphromoo should hold the wave for him. So let's see how much closer that gets.
Xmithy going back into his jungle. His top side, it's a full-on 1v1 between these two. Impact disengaging, smacking Someday away with the hammer, and as Someday is now the one with the lane priority, he's the one marching down into the river. Jarvan also having a knock-up to be able to deal with the Scuttle Crab armor if he wants to go after the crab himself, but instead he just wants to grab some honey fruit for a snack, head right back up into that top lane, secures a little bit of control over the top side jungle as well, popping the Scryer's Bloom as well as the enemy Blast Cone, so he can't be ganked from that path.
Yeah, he actually leaves it there for his jungler to take. Nice guy Someday. Gonna let Amazing get that Scuttle Crab. And then Blue is up for a possible invade, but it's an Infernal Drake on the bottom side. So in the mid stage of the game here, around the 8 minutes, you have to be very careful about where you commit your resources, because Infernal Drake is a fairly big scaling objective that will be available as a counter.
Here comes Jensen, though. Soligo's in some trouble. The rest of Team Liquid collapsing now on the 100 Thieves mid laner. Amazing shows up. He's got level 6. Critically, Xmithy only level 5. Afromu now joining the fray as well. Xmithy forced to flash over the wall.
All right, both junglers now flashless. Top side still going for another little fight here as Someday making good use of his grasp. You want to go for those periodic all-ins to be able to charge up and sustain with some extra long-term health. Controllers go down. He's trying to help out Amazing here. Level advantage means the smite should go over to Amazing.
Amazing securing that one. Xmithy still only level 5, means Team Liquid doesn't want anything to do with this fight. Xmithy is pretty close, but now bottom side is going to be 2 versus 2 here yet again. Afromu the target as CoreJJ forces away the flash from the enemy support. Bang having to get himself away with the on the hunt.
Yeah, double ultimates used by both of those marksmen. Both supports about to hit 6 and look for theirs. CoreJJ playing aggressively. Once he gets this, you have to really watch out for the Rakan engage. Ward going down. Afromu healing back up, though, should feel pretty secure.
Yeah, I'm really going to be keeping an eye on CoreJJ specifically this game. Remember in their loss to Echo Fox in week 1, he was also playing the Rakan, but he was having some really uncharacteristically sloppy engages, so I want to see if they're able to clean those up a little bit here now that we're into week 2, now that they've had a little bit more time to get back in the groove of things. As Xmithy in the bottom side makes sure that nobody's going to be coming down to harass his bottom lane as they continue to shove forward, and at the same time moves into that enemy jungle to try to steal a blue back after losing his own. Critically, Trundle ultimate now available. Team Liquid moving up with 4. 100 Thieves looking to collapse. Xmithy wants to pass this off, manages to give it over to Jensen. Nice root comes down onto Afromu, but Team Liquid doesn't want to take this fight any further, not just yet. Jensen still not with a Shurima shuffle ready to go, means they don't look for the fight.
That's a huge, huge advantage for Team Liquid, gained by their lanes pushing up. Bottom lane and mid lane both pushed up. They created that invade, allowed Xmithy to go in and start it off. Plus, on the top side, Impact on the Jace gets a turret play, gets a push up as well, while this bottom play is about to take off.
Remember, Afromu has no flash. CoreJJ is able to lead the way and start the charge. Afromu is going to be taken low. Double lift as well, having to flash away. The Ignite continues to tick, as now it's Amazing into the fray. Xmithy's going to be brought down. He's out of there. CoreJJ continues to try to run, but he's going to be chopped down too.
Amazing gets a double kill there. They don't get the gold over to Bang, but he should be able to get a turret plate, and they're going to power this one down.
Oh, baby, here we go. Amazing and Bang putting some money in the pockets of 100 Thieves after they get themselves a play off the back of Team Liquid's aggro and make it so the reigning champs do not get away with it for free.
Meanwhile, we kind of talked about Impact had pushed up that top side. Let's take another look at how it all started out, though. So everybody looking for Afromu, he knows he can't get out, so he turns on double lift. He puts down threat with his all-in, his ignite, his aftershock. So he takes double lift out of this fight, and they can't fight it back. Jensen has to fight away.
Meanwhile, Afromu bites off more than he can chew. He's cut down by Jensen, and Team Liquid ties the kill count up.
Well, right as we jump back to live, Team Liquid strikes back. They get one for themselves. They pull ahead, barely in gold once again. And the Infernal Drake, that prize we keep talking about for these early skirmishes, is still available. With all this deep vision that's just been put in, that might be on the table. Impact trying to knock back Someday, but he's getting chased down, and here comes Amazing for a possible dive.
Amazing's ready to go. He does not have Ragnarok, but the question is, does he even need it? Someday's the target. Impact trying to turn this one back around, make it so they're not able to find the aggro onto him. Someday now behind enemy lines. He doesn't have the cooldowns ready to go just yet. Impact's looking to turn this into a counter kill. Amazing over the wall, throws out the axe. Impact needs some damage from that one, and somehow, some way, Kobe, no dead bodies in the top lane, but the Infernal will fall for Team Liquid.
Exactly, no dead bodies, but we just said, around this mid-game, you have to be so calculated with where you spend your resources. If you show topside like that for the dive, and you mess it up, as we just saw, it costs you an Infernal Drake. Very big there. Team Liquid are able to get the objective on the other side of the map during the fumbled dive. And that is, you know, Amazing goes in on the Olaf. If you miss that first axe, they don't have a lot of time with the minion wave dying. And it felt like it was a very disjointed play, not on the same page as to whether or how to continue with that commitment.
Felt a little bit sloppy from the side of 100 Thieves there. Also want to point out, because we're talking about Amazing, the build in his items, because it's very, I always like to notice whenever a jungler isn't going for jungle item completed first, He completed the Chilling Smite, so he has the extra slow and the ability to engage with that, but he's going straight into Black Cleaver afterwards just for that big one-item power spike.
And a lot of times you'll see that when they get the early kills. He did get a double kill for himself, so he wants to be more powerful someday. Going for the EQ. He does a smart thing there where he waits. He doesn't insta-cast his combo because he doesn't want to get interrupted by that pillar. Xmithie had the right idea. You want to try and interrupt the EQ, but someday holds off on the Q and is able to get over the side, so no damage done. Will they chase Team Liquid off of this Rift Herald? It looks like they do have Saligo coming forward.
Saligo coming forward. Eye pops open again for Shelly. She's getting very impatient now.
For the
She's gonna
lead.
go back home here, really aggravated soon. All right, almost healed back up to full. Oh no, now she's mad again. She's slightly patient, but once again gonna be marching home. Just happy to be alive probably as CoreJJ rotates towards the mid lane. Bang and Afromu also showing up here as Double says, all right, you guys can rotate around, go roam, help the team, do whatever. I'm gonna farm up and get big for later. As 100 Thieves will continue to try to find some control here in the mid-game as Amazing moves into the enemy jungle. And Afromu and Bang go for the 2 versus 1 on Doublelift here in the bottom side. A nicely timed ulti. Gonna be keeping Doublelift alive, but they can't find the kill. CoreJJ finds the first counter kill. Are they gonna make it a second one? Impact TP's down just to make sure he's not even required, but Team Liquid make the play.
Hey, you said you were going to keep your eyes on CoreJJ. Well, you better be quick here, Captain Flowers.
Eyes peeled.
That was a grand entrance to find the kill onto Afromu, who is tanking the turret to let his team complete the dive that Rakan can appear so quickly from off screen. And with the security of the teleport, they go all in for it. So, flash from Afromu. He knows that he's going to have an extra cooldown here, saves his ultimate until after the ult from Doublelift has been used, so they guarantee it. But CoreJJ coming in with the quick moves is able to get there. They get the knock up, they hold him down, and Impact's teleport secures the all-in. Now they're at it again.
Every single replay brings us back to more blood on the field. Someday barely gets away, but CoreJJ says, not today, my friend. The fadeaway kill with the Ignite will put another one in the ground and bring the Team Liquid support to continue 100% kill participation.
And that may have looked funny, but that was the pillar interrupt I was talking about before. Xmithie with the mechanics once again, probably best Trundle that I have seen with his pillar placements and his pillar timings, is able to force Someday into the wall, which pushes him back out into the river, gets the flash out of him, and then CoreJJ flash ignites for the kill and securing the objective as well in the aftermath.
Team Liquid getting themselves yet another objective on this map. They've got the first Drake, they've got the Rift Herald, they've got the first turret, and it seems like everything 100 Thieves tries to do just goes a little bit sour, and when they invest those resources into somewhere that they don't pay off, Team Liquid is able to strike back elsewhere. We need to see 100 Thieves really make these plays work, whatever it is they're not doing. If they're not committing enough guys, put more guys in there. If you're not hitting your skill shots, aim that stuff better. Make sure you can have these plays work, because these continued failed attempts are going to result in this gold lead ballooning even higher. Doublelift and CoreJJ have now swapped into the top side along with Bang and Afromu. First turret fallen in the bottom lane means that's the name of the game now, as the top laners will continue their split push battle on the bottom half of the map. Shelly is in the hands of Xmithie. Means they can drop this anywhere they need to put it. Tier 1 still standing in the mid lane and top lane for 100 Thieves. No ability to get more turret plates off of the Shelly summon. Oftentimes you want to summon that before 14 minutes if you can, but there was no chance to do it this game. And we'll see if Amazing can make something happen here on the top side. Afromu will force out that ultimate from Doublelift.
Yeah, they're definitely looking to take advantage. CoreJJ used both summoners in that last kill that he got onto Someday. However, Team Liquid playing it to the bottom half of the map because, once again, a dragon is on the table. Ocean Drake just spawns, and Team Liquid once again pick it up, while 100 Thieves try and make a play on the top side of the map. If Amazing is up there, that means it's very, very easy for Team Liquid to pick up the Ocean Drake. They get the regeneration, and critically, the biggest part about this play from Team Liquid, their top lane played the weak side of the map defensively. CoreJJ and Doublelift do not overextend there. They actually gave up a lot of turret damage. They do not show themselves, and so they don't fall victim to that weak side of the map where they know that 100 Thieves would be able to win that 3v2 skirmish.
Team Liquid with the objective game on cruise control this time around, making sure they're getting those drakes as they spawn. Aphromoo gets engaged on, the pillar comes down, and he's going right back into a watery grave. Xmithie grabs his first kill of the game. CoreJJ gets ignited, but it's not a kill yet again. 100 Thieves not having the damage to respond, and now it's 4 members strong from Team Liquid, knocking down the tier 1.
Again, this is the coordination of the MSI finalists, Team Liquid, on display. Once they're able to get that dragon off the bottom half of the map, they rotate everybody up to the top side. Then they can go aggressive. Really nice opener there from CoreJJ to set up Aphromoo for the all-in from Xmithie. Finds another pillar. They get the kill onto Nautilus, and that gets them the second outer turret.
Soligo clears out a control ward and then immediately gets away from Jensen. Doesn't want to put himself in a bad spot to get caught out, but look at the inventories right now, Mr. Kobe, because I see control ward, control ward, control ward, control ward, control ward. Team Liquid, everybody is set up to continue to control this map. It's a minute and a half away before Baron spawns, and they have a team that can burst it down fast.
And you want those control wards placed to protect your split pusher, Impact. As we talked about in the last game, there wasn't a lot of vision support for the split push that they were trying to pull off. In this game for Team Liquid, you can see Xmithie immediately moves over to this half of the map, and he's able to support Impact in his split push endeavors, placing down a couple of these deep wards to allow the Jace to play more aggressively. But mid lane, Amazing has to run for his life.
He's already flashed. He's popped the Ragnarok just to retreat. Impact coming in from the side, bangs in some trouble. Knockback past the turret means he has to flash out as well. That's 2 summoner spells expended by the side of 100 Thieves for 1 on the side of Team Liquid.
Yeah, Impact getting real deep in there, wanted to take down Bang. They do trade summoners in the end, and we'll see if Impact is protected enough on the side lane by that vision that we highlighted for his flash to not go punished, because Bang's flash is the single most important flash on the side of 100 Thieves.
Yes, sir.
He's working towards his crit multipliers right now. Still needs a significant amount more money, though, as we're only cressing the 20-minute mark into the game. He has to be funneled more of these minion waves in order for 100 Thieves to get to the point where they can actually win those team fights. It relies so much on that Sivir AoE damage coming through with the crits.
And you can see, although neither of these top laners has a kill so far, Impact almost 1,500 gold ahead of his opponent just through his CS and the fact that his team has better objective control in terms of turrets and plates early on. That means he's going to continue building these leads. You can see he's got an extra serrated Dirk up over his opponent, and although they both have a pretty impressive health pool, the base armor is very low, meaning that lethality can go a long way.
Yeah, lethality definitely going to leave a mark, considering the Azir in the mid lane there. Jensen, as you mentioned, not only is he lethal tempo, which now, as we're passing the 20-minute marks, really starts to add a lot more damage, but he's got the full spell penetration. You got your Oblivion Orb, plus your Sork Boots, and the Luden's Echo. This is a high damage Azir that is going to be really, really threatening for these team fights with a completely different damage type. And you're left with this conundrum on the side of 100 Thieves of how do I itemize against all this penetration? There's flat magic pen, there's flat attack damage penetration with the lethality, and it's just too many sources of damage to catch up on.
And remember, even if somebody does decide they want to be the meatball for the team, be that big wall in the front, well, Trundle just says, thanks for the snack. That's not really that much of a problem. You've got to have some sort of way to survive this, but right now, 100 Thieves have their work cut out for them. 3,500 gold down. Next Drake here in about 30 seconds. Aphromoo tries to engage onto Xmithie in the mid lane. Subjugate immediately coming down after Aphromoo had procced the Aftershock, which means Xmithie becomes very tanky. Now the counterattack comes down. CoreJJ is able to find 1, able to find 2, and there's that flash. The punish is there. A double kill for Double It.
That's Team Liquid taking control of the mid lane here. Xmithie on Trundle does get caught, but he's easily able to get his ultimate off on the Aftershocked Aphromoo right there. Nautilus providing a lot of defense there, and he sustains back up long enough for the teleport to come in for Impact there to transition into the Baron. Here come 100 Thieves trying to stop it. 3v5.
100 Thieves are going to need some sort of a miracle here. Soligo has no shockwave, so that's not going to do it. Amazing has no flash. There's no way into the pit. There's no way out. The damage comes through, and Team Liquid grab the objective and a free kill.
Only way out is back to the fountain, and Jensen sends him there himself. Ocean Dragon is on the table, but it's going to be so difficult for 100 Thieves to even defend their base. Team Liquid not even going for a reset after this Baron. They immediately want gold in their pockets, taking down secondary turrets. Mid lane is gone. Top lane soon to follow as Impact is working the minions up.
What was it? 2 minutes ago, I said, yeah, this is a hard game. 3,500 gold deficit for 100 Thieves. That 3,500 has quickly become 8,000, about to be almost 9, as Impact puts in the work on this top lane tier 2.
Into the river.
Teleport coming in. This is 100 Thieves' chance to try to make some sort of an attack, but Aframu has already missed the hook. Here comes Someday, able to find a knock-up onto 3, but it's not going to be enough. Jensen grabbing the kill onto the enemy support to start things off. Someday's trapped in his own Cataclysm. Impact brings down the hammer, and Team Liquid will destroy 100 Thieves.
They're looking for more. Smithy's on the inside route here. He's very low health, but he could try and do a long-range pillar. I think that last burst damage was enough to move him off. Team Liquid just going to go for the objective instead. They still have the Baron buff, so this top tower is melting.
Some days engage there looked pretty good, but the problem was they're too far behind, there's no follow-up, and Liquid just turns it around.
And even though you're going over all these problems for 100 Thieves, I think that people will at least be happy to see them going for these plays, right?
Yeah.
They're still looking, even though they're so far behind, you have to create a play to get yourself out of this deficit. And Someday teleports behind the team. They were looking for the Jarvan combo and immediate shockwave, but the immediacy is not there. There's no immediate shockwave after the Jarvan engage, and 100 Thieves take a lot of big damage on the outskirts there, especially from the Azir and the Zaya.
The tragedy in that fight for 100 Thieves is Someday being taken so low that he uses his Cataclysm to distance himself from most of Liquid and traps Amazing inside the rocks as he stasis. So Olaf has to sit there in the cage and just go, what do I do?
Yeah.
Really unfortunate turn of events there for the Thieves. 10,000 gold down now. Still having all inhibitor turrets intact. That's our silver lining. But Team Liquid is looking to turn that cloud much darker here in just a moment.
All right, siege continues. Baron gonna continue for 50 more seconds. Team Liquid want to make that crack inside the base. Inhibitor turret has fallen. And the cannon minion surviving here means the mid lane still under threat as Impact fires away harassment on 2 members on the bottom side.
The way that games can accelerate so quickly these days, if you give up a Baron in a game that felt kind of bad, it quickly turns into a Nexus exploding within the next 5 minutes. Team Liquid, only 25 minutes into this game, now have themselves poised to potentially thrash the entirety of the base of 100 Thieves. Impact will continue pressuring that bottom lane. It's a 1-3-1 split as Doublelift goes into the top side to shove up the wave. Jensen, Core JJ, and Xmithy are plenty confident in their ability to disengage any sort of an effort from 100 Thieves. And now the 4-1 resumes with the 3 rotating up to join Doublelift and push down that tier 3.
Yep, it looks like top side will be defended by 100 Thieves, so that means bottom side will be all Team Liquid.
Impact and Core JJ are enough to take that one down. Core JJ goes in onto Sunday, who's going to be eating some damage now. Impact's in some trouble, having a flash out of the Cataclysm. Xmithy going forward, able to find a little bit of damage now onto Amazing. But it's 100 Thieves that again lose out in that trade, and that means they will lose out on their bottom lane inhibitor.
And I think we're in for one more reset here for Team Liquid. Before they return to this base to finish the job. They've gotten so much money off of that Baron play. They took down both mid and bottom all the way through the 100 Thieves base. So they'll get the Ocean Dragon on their way out, reset to go spend all of that money. And you can see on the scoreboard how difficult it will be. These are bounties on every single Team Liquid member. Every single member in this game. Far enough ahead of their opponents to earn a gold reward, and they will be coming full steam ahead for that Nexus.
You're gonna have to work for that reward, though. These guys have already shown if you give them an inch, they will take a mile in these fights. 100 Thieves will need not only a good engage on their parts, but for Team Liquid to drop the ball, and specifically Core JJ, who I said I was watching earlier, looks like the Core JJ we normally see. It seems that Team Liquid has had some nice time to get practiced up a little bit, remove some of that rust that might have been on them from week number 1 like we saw in the game against Echo Fox, and they're looking pretty ferocious here today against 100 Thieves. as they'll continue moving up through the enemy jungle, placing down their own control wards, clearing out that vision line, and making it so the Thieves are terrified to go anywhere away from the protection and shade of their own turrets.
All right, Team Liquid are going to move the super minions inside the base through mid lane here, and they're going to go straight for the Nexus turrets. It's only Jensen topside where Aphromoo goes in.
Jensen keeping himself in a good enough spot. Amazing chases after him with the ultimate on, but he doesn't have the damage to really do much of anything. With Xmithie joining up with Jensen, Amazing has nothing to do except retreat. Pillar comes out, but it's not able to get on the right side of Amazing, just barely missing out on that one. Tier 3 turret dropping rapidly. Final inhibitor under fire. This will make the map flood with Team Liquid super minions. That one goes down. One Nexus turret already half HP. And Team Liquid will once again regroup.
Yeah, Baron has spawned on the map. They don't want any sort of mistake to cost them the game. Someday goes in, gets the slow onto Core JJ, but it's a Rakan who can easily slip out. And if Team Liquid don't mess up here around the Baron, it leaves 100 Thieves with very few options. Their backs are against the wall. They know they have to throw the Hail Mary. They've been trying to fight their way out of it, but haven't been able to find that mistake from Team Liquid to capitalize on. And now, with all the super minions, they have too much work to defend their own base to even think about defending the Baron.
This is such a bad choice to have to make because you're picking between a 1% chance play and a 1.1% chance play of staying in the base and defending, giving up Baron, or trying to go contest a Baron. Your ability to win this game is nigh completely out of your hands because of the lead built by Team Liquid. And at this point, you're just hoping that somehow, some way, they have a race into your own fountain, because shy of that, Kobe, I don't think there's any way for 100 Thieves to win a fight. The damage, the items, the coordination, it's all on the side of Liquid. And all they gotta do now is just play escort service. There's tour guides for these super minions. And here you see the lovely ruins of that turret we knocked down 3 minutes ago.
On your left, you will see the Brambleback. If you all stand up and look to your right, you will see some extra wards. This is the 100 Thieves base. They've been there before. Team Liquid, purple buff on all the supers.
Purple buff on all the supers, purple buff on all the champions, purple buff all over the map, and 100 Thieves are looking to go in. Jensen gets himself away, impact into the back line. Aphromoo going to be exploded here at the very start. Guardian Angel procced on Someday. Amazing is already down. Bang and Saligo in full retreat. Someday not able to get himself away. Flash or not, you don't escape that one, and 100 Thieves will not escape TL. Team Liquid will take them down.
Another strong game here from Team Liquid, utilizing something we saw in spring, the J split push there for Impact. A lot of power on the bottom side, and distraction opened up room for Impact to get early turret plates, which definitely helped them all down along the line. Jensen was a beast on that Azir, huge damage threat through the mid game, with all of that AP kind of offsetting, all the armor that 100 Thieves had to build. The Azir damage was on display every time he encountered any of those members.
Honestly, everybody from Team Liquid seemed to just outperform their counterparts this game. I liked the fact, as you already mentioned, that we saw 100 Thieves go for plays, try to do something proactive. That was one of my criticisms of them in week one. They seemed very pass